Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm sharing one of the most unforgettable journeys I ever experienced, my expedition to Antarctica with Hurtigruten. To get there, I first had to fly into Buenos Aires, Argentina's bustling capital, and then catch a domestic flight down to Ushuaia. Buenos Aires is an absolutely beautiful city, very lively. We had one night there, so we decided to explore the city a little bit. To reach Antarctica, most expeditions depart from Ushuaia, the southernmost city in the world, located at the very tip of Argentina. From Ushuaia, we sailed out through the Beagle Channel, surrounded by the dramatic mountains and seabirds overhead. This was a calm before the storm, because next up was infamous Drake Passage. Drake Passage is a 500-mile stretch of open ocean between South America and Antarctica, and is known for its some of the roughest sea in the world. For us, I think it was a Drake shake. I was sick seriously for 2 days. After crossing the Drake, we reached the South Shetland Islands, an Antarctic peninsula. I'll never forget the first moment seeing the iceberg floating by, penguins jumping around through the water, and dramatic white landscape all around us. This truly feels like you arrived in another planet. Depending on the weather and ice conditions, we made landings by small boats called zodiacs. They give you the program the night before, so you know what you're doing the day after. This is an example of one of them. If the weather wasn't good and it was icy, they would have made a different stop. One thing a lot of people don't realize is that in Antarctica, landings are strictly regulated. By the Antarctic Treaty rules, only 100 passengers are allowed on shore at one site at the same time, no matter how big your ship is. That's why expedition cruises like Hurtigruten rotate groups using small zodiac boats. So while our ship carried more than 300 passengers, only a fraction of us could be on land at once. Our first landing was at Yankee Harbor on Greenwich Island in South Shetlands. This place is home to thousands of gentoo penguins, and the moment you step ashore, you're surrounded by their calls and constant activity. Yankee Harbor has a natural crescent-shaped bay that was once used by sailors back in 1800s and is still a safe anchorage for the ships today. The mix of history, wildlife, and dramatic Antarctic scenery made it one of the most memorable stops on the trip. Our next stop was Deception Island or Telefon Bay. What makes this place so unique is that it is actually a caldera of an active volcano. You're literally standing inside the flooded remains of a collapsed volcano, which is why the island has the horseshoe shape you can see on the map. The landscape here is so different from the icy white Antarctica that you can imagine. It's black volcano sand. It feels like you landed on another planet. Telefon Bay is named after an old whaling ship called Telefon, and today it's one of the spots where you can really see how dramatic and powerful the nature is. Hiking up gives you an incredible view of the crater lake and the bay below. We left Deception Bay towards the actual mainland of Antarctica. Due to a small number of people being able to get off the ship and actually land in Antarctica, the other groups will have a chance to actually go around Antarctica on a zodiac and try to find whales and seals and get a closer look at the environment they're in. It was finally our turn to get on the mainland and check out the penguins and the beautiful scenery. One of the first things you learn when landing in Antarctica is that you're not allowed to touch the penguins or disturb them in any way. By IAATO guidelines, we have to keep at least 5 meters away, although sometimes these penguins just are curious and waddle up right up to you. In that case, you're just allowed to just sit there and sit still and just let them do their thing. Landing on the mainland of Antarctica felt completely different from the island. You realize you're standing on the actual continent, the coldest, driest, and the windiest place on Earth. Around 98% of it is covered in ice, and that ice can be over a mile thick in places. It's humbling being here, surrounded by wildlife, history, and this incredible untouched landscape, knowing how careful protected it is so that future generations can experience it the same way. Over the next couple of days, our days were pretty much very similar. We either had the morning or afternoon group that goes to the landing, and then we go for the Zodiac rides. Some of the extra activities you can do off the ship is to go for snowshoeing, which are these orange things I was wearing, or you can even camp overnight on Antarctica, which was interesting. One of the days when we went with the Zodiacs to have a look around, we came back and we saw our ship wasn't there. And there was this sea of ice that's been created. It was crazy. It was so scary. And then we saw that the ship had to move because of the ice. Things are not very controlled because they can change really, really quickly. The weather can change very quickly, or as you can see, the condition of the sea can change really, really quickly. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect before we got there. It was out of this world. I was speechless. You can see I could not stop smiling. We saw so many different penguins, and we saw a lot of humpback whales. We were sitting on the Zodiacs and you could see them coming out of the water. It was so beautiful, so magical. We also hiked snowy ridges with views of glaciers, kayaked among the icebergs, and had moments of absolute silence. It was so magical.